Cancer is the paradox we manage, not the paradox we solve. It mutates as the emperor of all maladies, and its merciless nature has wreaked havoc among the human population, claiming 8.2 million lives in 2015. The robust emergent cancer cells are hard for doctors to understand in great detail. There are perhaps 40,000 unique mutations affecting over 10,000 unique genes. 500 of these genes are bona fide drivers, causes of cancer. Comparatively, there are about 24 targeted chemotherapies and radiations for treatment. The manifestation of this disease in our society is something so common. Its prevalence is embedded in each of our lives. Surviving cancer becomes more than trying to manage it medically. It is about holistically treating the entire patient, mind, body, and soul. Cancer tests the human ability to bend but not break, bounce back, and perhaps even grow in the face of adversity, shaping a mindset to remind us of the innate resilience in humans alike, shifts the fear of dying to the joy of living. My personal story of cancer survival and struggle has led me to a passion of research in the field of integrative cancer care to help patients cope with the pain and distress of cancer. This experience has led me to endorse the necessity of education and awareness in shifting the Singaporean healthcare culture. Why? To promote open communication between doctors and patients regarding holistic or complementary therapies. In October of 2012, my twin brother, Nils Berggren, went through, at the age of 13, was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer and autoimmune blood disease. He stayed in Singapore and underwent an intensive protocol of chemo, 4 rounds of radiation, 5 surgery procedures, and a stem cell transplant. For Nils, the most tolling aspects of this disease were the agitation, the anger, depression, and suicidal thoughts that accompanied his invasive treatments. Through the impressive medical system of Singapore, Nils was able to beat stage 4 cancer. Nils was a shell of his former self. He was depressed and unwilling to go on. We all knew that something was missing in his cancer care in Singapore. But back then, we couldn't comprehend exactly what it was. Weeks passed, and another challenge was in sight. In order to continue treatment after a stem cell transplant, Nils and my family were to travel and transfer and pack up our entire lives in Singapore to move to Seattle, 9,000 miles away, to start treatment at Seattle Children's Hospital. In Seattle, we were greeted with incredible support from psychiatrists, psychologists, emotional therapists, nutritional therapists, art and music therapists, guided meditation therapists, and so on and so forth. Nils's grit shined in Seattle due to the connection with his doctors and the access to these incredible holistic or complementary therapies. We realized what was missing in his conventional cancer care in Singapore. None of these therapies were made available to Nils within the hospital system of Singapore, and his well-being was negatively impacted. Although Singapore has a renowned medical reputation, the gap in their access to holistic care inhibits the potential for patients to control symptoms and enhance the well-being. So what exactly are complementary therapies? They are defined by the National Center for Integrative Health as a group of diagnostic and therapeutic disciplines that are used together with conventional medicine. Complementary therapies are grouped into mind and body practices, art and music therapy, and support groups. For Nils, he experienced guided imagery with psychologists who calmed him and took him through mental games. He experienced muscle relaxation and hypnotherapy used to relieve chemo-induced nausea. He painted and listened to music with a therapist as a creative vehicle for his rehabilitation. These integrative therapies helped Nils cope with his pain and distress, better the quality of his life, and recalibrate his physiological systems. So when I began research through the AP Capstone program, I found that recently, complementary therapies are indeed gaining popularity worldwide, with over 50% of cancer patients reporting usage. Unfortunately, this trend is not the case in Singapore. According to a local NUS study, 85% of oncologists at the Cancer Center of National University Hospital are unaware of the complementary therapy usage of their patients. During active cancer treatment, it is crucial that doctors and patients discuss best care approaches with holistic yet safe therapies. The potential for complementary therapies to alleviate chemotherapy and radiation symptoms creates need for evidence-informed education and decision support interventions. In turn, patient-practitioner relationships can be furthered in the Singaporean healthcare through promotion of open communication. I think this culture can shift to integrated oncology, which treats patients by focusing on the whole person, with both conventional and complementary therapies alongside a multidisciplinary approach. Doctors see us at our most vulnerable, our most scared, our most private. They escort us into this world and then back out. To meet patients where they are, it is critical for doctors to establish an understanding of patient perspective. In Seattle, Nils would do these guided meditation therapies to manage his chronic pain. From this, his doctors could gauge his pain levels because they sat down and talked him through coping. They talked to him about what outside support he needed in his individual treatment to relieve pain. Once the issue of the lack of discussion regarding complementary therapies is solved, cancer patients can redefine what is possible within their lives because they have new emotional outlets and support groups. Nils was able to yield complementary therapies as a tool for changing and building his own outlooks on life. Integrating holistic practices into the Singapore medical system is enabling cancer patients so they can shape their own resilient mindsets to motivate a prism of possibilities. The drive behind Nils and so many other cancer patients to continue on as they fight this life-threatening disease taught me about intrinsic motivation. It teaches all of us that we have a choice during times of adversity, a choice to either slide into despair or grab hold of that resilient nature of ours and nurture it, to forge optimism and hardiness, and to learn and grow. So what makes life meaningful enough to go on? This is answered time and time again through the lives of these survivors as they grasp death, uncloak it, and see it eye to eye unblinking. Cancer creates a strange and strained existence. I witnessed this challenge as a sister, but my twin went head on, neither blind nor bound by death's approach. Fighters of cancer face their mortality to a greater extent, but they don't face it alone because human relationality forms the bedrock of meaning. The relationship between doctor and patient is the art of medicine, and communication is the paintbrush. Thank you.